She is one of the most mysterious women in Chinese history, but still notable enough to have been recorded by the grand historian Sima Qian over 100 years after her death. The first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, built a tower in her birthplace to commemorate her after her death. She was as rich as a Rockefeller and even controlled a private army. But she wasn't an empress, princess, or royal consort. She was, according to the historian, a mere merchant. What then made her so special? Her only recorded name is Qing, for pure or honest. But since she came from the region then called Ba Shu, today's Chongqing and Sichuan, she is known as Ba Qing. She died at approximately 50 years of age in the first emperor's palace at Xianyang in the last years of his reign. The emperor had her remains returned to her birthplace. The emperor did not outlive her by long, dying himself in 210 BC, also around 50 years of age. The relationship between the emperor Qin Shi Huang and the female merchant Ba Qing seems one of the great mysteries of Chinese history. In his historical records, completed around 100 BC, the grand historian Sima Qian wrote about her in a relatively detailed manner. She appears in the penultimate chapter, entitled Biographies of Merchants. Qing, a widow from Ba State. Her ancestors found a Cinnabar mine, which over several generations made the family immensely rich. Though widowed, Qing was able to maintain the business, protecting herself with her wealth from the depredations of others. The emperor, respecting her for her chasteness, took her for his guest and built a tower to honor her. Qing, a widow from a poor and distant land, was the equal of any monarch. Was this simply on account of her wealth? Sima Qian's sketch paints an intriguing picture. Though widowed, Qing was able to maintain the business, protecting herself with her wealth from the depredations of others. Was she really a merchant? Was she really a widow? And was she really a guest? Certainly from what was known of the emperor in his lifetime, and subsequently written about him, it would require a very strong constitution to be able to enjoy his hospitality for any length of time.
她一个女人经营着他们几代传承下来的这个产业，能够把它发展得很好，管理得很好。所以说呢，这个消息呢传到秦始皇那儿，秦始皇呢，对他很尊敬，就是把他请了去不以这个臣民那么样一个等级的差别来鄙视，而是以高贵的客人以宾礼相待。
After her summons to the emperor's court, she lived out the rest of her life in his capital, Xianyang, hundreds of miles from her homeland. She was an honored guest, while after she died, the emperor returned her remains and built a great memorial tower for her. But that question, at the end of the grand historian's account, makes everything ambiguous. Was this simply on account of her wealth? The records of Ba State, written in the 4th century, state that Ba Qing was born in Jia County, which is today's Fuling district, in the Chongqing municipality. According to another historical record, Qing was buried at the Dragon's Nest Mountain, in what is now the Chengshou district of Chongqing. It was also here that the first emperor built the Huai Qing Tower, whose name means in cherished memory of Qing. The 17th century Geographic Encyclopedia tells the later generations that Dragon's Nest Mountain was also known as Widow Qing's Tower Mountain and Chaste Woman's Mountain. According to the chronicles of Chengshou County, Qing and her family had nearly 1,000 household servants and armed-landed tenantry of over 10,000, an extraordinary figure for a mere merchant family in any age. Fuling means riverside tombs, and some of the rulers of the Ba state were buried here. It served for a time as the royal capital after the state lost their original capital further east to the state of Chu. The scale of Ba Qing's interests must have made her a powerful figure in the area, quite possibly with royal connections.
根据一些学者的推测呢，说他家里边呢有仆人上千，童仆上千，有这个私家军保镖有2500个，说他家的徒属就是依附于他们家，维持生计的大概上万。好，这些是很多是带有推测性的，但是这些推测是可信的。还有人就前些年就根据来算。 就算他们的基本生活费按这个8块钱一天，按照他们的6块钱一天，按照他们的最低工资800块钱算的话，那么要养活这些人4000万，跟清同时或者稍稍靠后几年的那些人的情况来看，是可靠的。
Such a sizable undertaking could not but come to the attention of the rulers of the state. After unifying all of the warring states into his domain, Emperor Qin Shi Huang showed much concern to develop the economy by standardizing weights and measures and the units of currency, amongst other things. Nonetheless, in traditional culture, both before and after, the social status of merchants and traders was not of the highest.
这个秦朝、汉朝这个时期啊，它是国家的政策呀，是打击排斥工商业者。他鼓励发展农业，他重视农业。 把工商业者呀视为二等人、2等罪犯。如果要是朝廷国家要是出兵打仗呢，第一类是先调犯人，然后呢就调工商业者，所以工商业者呀，他等于2等罪犯。
When Minister Shang Yang started to reform in the state of Qin in the mid-4th century BC, he sought to promote agriculture at the expense of commerce. His aim was to prepare the state of Qin for military conflict with its neighbors. He wrote in one of his books, "The farmers work the hardest, but the profit they gain is smaller than merchants and craftsmen. If we could prevent those merchants and craftsmen from increasing in number, then it would be impossible to exhaust the wealth of a state." This policy continued throughout the struggles with Qin's rivals. The rulers seemed to believe that if the people were focused on farm work instead of commerce, it would bring prosperity to their country. When the emperor finally emerged triumphant, he still needed that large agricultural base to supply his armies and ensure peace in the provinces. So the question remains, why would the emperor tolerate, let alone pay court to, a widow and a merchant from a poor and distant county, and one with a private army to boot? It would have been much more within his previously demonstrated character, simply to destroy the army and seize the riches. Sima Qian gives people one possible reason for the respect in which Ba Qing was held by the emperor. Emperor Qin respected her as his guest for her chastity. He wrote in his historical records, "
始皇帝以为贞妇而克之，就把八寡妇卿看成是一个贞妇。那个贞妇呢，如果按我们现在的去理解的话，按现在的那种理解去讲的话，贞就是贞操，操是贞操，贞妇就是一个很讲贞洁的女人。"
The story goes that Qing got married when she was 18 years old. 1 year later, her father-in-law died, and when she was 22, her husband died. With no children to raise and no siblings to help her, she took on the running of the whole Cinnabar business by herself.
秦始皇他的身世很特殊的，他是应该说他是私生子，实际上他不是秦穆王的儿子，应该说是吕不韦的儿子，那是史上有记载，吕不韦让秦始皇的母亲怀了孕，再嫁给再送给那个秦始皇的父亲秦穆王，所以在那种情况下，再加上秦始皇的母亲又和那个一个人私通，闹脉私通，私通，这样秦始皇一直对妇女不这么好。
After the emperor's father died, his mother, the Queen Dowager Zhao, had 2 sons by a lover, Lao Ai. In 238 BC, Lao Ai rebelled against the 19-year-old king, hoping to replace him with one of his own sons. The rebellion failed, and Lao Ai was executed. Disgusted, the young king kept his mother in confinement until she died 10 years later. By contrast, Ba Qing was for the emperor an example of chaste virtue in her widowhood. According to the historical records, the first emperor had his moral rules set in stone, quite literally. 3 of the 5 carved stone tablets the emperor had made for the great mountaintop ceremonies when he communed with the gods concern the correction of social customs and the rectification of morals and manners. In particular, this meant relations between the sexes, and adultery would incur the most draconian punishment. These tablets were designed to demonstrate his virtues to the rulers of the heavens. But they also give a good indication of his priorities and the importance, in his mind, of chastity. The Qing Tower was the emperor's way of giving the highest commendation to Qing's virtue in her widowhood.
因为那个当时记载嘛，说那个Qing的话，他那个死后，因为他被秦始皇接到那个咸阳嘛，然后他死后那个始皇尊重他的遗愿，把他那个运回老家，然后葬于老家，然后在那个给他为了怀念他，然后筑的怀清台。但是这个历史上面的记载的话，那个都不是很详细。
怀清台。 台呀是中国古时的4大建筑之一，亭台楼阁啊，亭台楼阁，这是台。台呀一般是找一个比较高的地方，啊，修一个可以遥望远处的地方。秦始皇下令给一个妇女修台啊，那是不容易。
Over the years, Zheng Yin-Xuan, a researcher with the local Cultural Affairs Bureau, had searched for the mountaintop tomb many times. In 2007, on his 17th attempt, he thinks he found it. The tomb was almost entirely hidden by weeds.
主要是一些地理书籍，包括一统志啊、扩地志啊、地域志啊这些志书里面，都记载了，明确的记载了，长寿这个地方的怀清台。我们在现场看见有这个8副清的墓，有墓葬，还有一个规模很大的一个怀清台，当然都是。 当然，我们后来所看到的那个怀清台，历经历史的沧桑，都已经有些这个风化了，但是基石还在。
这个是能搞到吗？The Qing Tower and the Dragon's Nest Mountain on which it stood had been cleared for modern development. But both the folklore and historical record are in agreement. The first emperor constructed a unique memorial to a woman who seems to have held a unique position in his esteem.
怀清台呢，就是纪念寡妇清的这个台子，表示我对于这个人的一种怀念，啊，一种尊敬。
八寡妇清。 她作为一个念丹砂的寡妇，她为什么受到秦始皇那么高的礼遇？秦始皇以为贞妇而克之，贞妇是秦始皇对她的一个很高的评价，克之给她很高的待遇，而且为筑吕怀清台，为她专门筑了一个纪念性的高台，来纪念和表彰她，因为这个地位。 在秦朝没有别的女性有，其他的男性的大臣也没有。
So it's questionable that Qing's chastity alone was sufficient for her to earn so much respect from the emperor.
作为一个统治者，高高在上，他怎么会？ 那么喜欢一个穷乡僻壤的一个女人呢？啊，一个企业家呢？而且他当时秦朝汉朝对于这个企业家、对于工商业者是一种排斥，是一种鄙视。秦始皇为什么会特别的看重了寡妇清，给他修一个台子叫做怀清台呢？他要纪念他， 他要老是思念着他。这里边呢，透露出来一部分是秦始皇的感谢寡妇卿，对于寡妇卿很感恩。
But there were other facets to the conundrum of the emperor and Ba Qing's relationship. According to Sima Qian, Ba Qing was able to protect herself with her wealth, and that she was the equal of any king. Did this mean she employed force of arms to protect her business interests?
从文献资料呢，没有八寡妇卿到底他那个私人武装有多少人，配多少武器，这个不知道。但是我们可以做一个推论，因为八寡妇卿是春秋战国500多年时间里头唯一一个靠经营单杀致富的一个杰出的女性商人，而且还是一个寡妇。考虑到单杀的那种紧俏性和一个寡妇带来的别人想侵夺的那种可能性，所以这种武装的人数，它不应该少，而且那么大一个帝国，它采单矿，它要保护，炼单矿要保护，尤其是这个单杀对外的运输，它一定要有押运的人，所以这个单杀的部队不光是在长寿在重庆。是面向全国的，所以我们来估计一下的话，他这支部队应该上千人。他显然是一种私人武装，用才之位，是用他自己的钱来养了一支部队。
After the emperor had completed his conquest of China, he had ordered all weapons to be collected and be shipped to the capital at Xianyang. Here, he had them melted down and made gongs, bells, and other musical instruments, and into 12 giant bronze figurines, which stood inside his palace. The private ownership of weapons was forbidden by law. The emperor had been the victim of at least 3 assassination attempts, and as a meticulous and ruthless administrator, he was inclined to eliminate all threats to his life and his power. As usual, any violation of his laws could expect the most severe punishment. So, was Ba Qing exempt from this? And if so, why? More than 2,000 years ago, the first emperor of China had a mysterious relationship with a widow from the provinces. The historical record praises her for her chastity, but is that really all there was to it? Please join us for part 2 as we delve deeper into the mystery of the Cinnabar Queen.